Having surpassed 1,000 completed anime, it's time to review my old favorites and find out what holds up. I'm Sacrabolic, your envoy of hope, and this is Anime Favorite Search. A Certain Scientific Railgun S is divided into two arcs, the first of which is the Sisters arc, which also appears in the Index anime, although it is handled significantly better in Railgun. A supercomputer concludes that in order to force the number one Esper in the city, Accelerator, to become a level 6, he needs to kill about 100 Misakas. And so what they do is they create inferior clones of Misaka called the Sisters, where, because they're inferior, he needs to kill 20,000 of these clones in order for him to turn into a level 6 Esper. It's not as stupid as it sounds, I promise you of that. The Sisters arc in Railgun is, to date, one of the greatest story arcs I've ever seen in any anime. And a major crux of why it's better than the Index version and why it is so good is because it heavily focuses on Misaka's experiences and feelings, and we get to really explore her psychology in Railgun. We don't really get that in Index because Toma is the main focus, but we get to see Misaka genuinely go through these insane depths because it starts relatively upbeat with just like season 1, and we get to see her sink to the depths of despair and hopelessness and become mentally broken and see how far she is willing to go to stop the experiment, to the point where she even becomes suicidal at the end. And watching this main character break down and become hopeless and go through all these struggles and fight these battles. There is an amazing battle against the number 4 Esper in the city, Meltdowner, during this arc that is super exciting, plenty of tension, and it is important to note that it also kind of explores the themes of like the dark side of Academy City, which is touched on in season 1, but this goes really heavy into it. This is where Misaka realizes that it's the entire city is her enemy, because despite the fact that she does try to stop Accelerator, the thing is Accelerator is functionally invincible because he has the ability to manipulate vectors and can subconsciously redirect any attacks fired at him back on the user. In this universe, teleportation also uses vectors, so it's not like Kuroko could just teleport him into a brick wall. So there's only a handful of people in Academy City that would stand a chance of beating him, most of whom would probably be angels, cyborgs, other high-level espers, or powerful magicians, and as established in the show, no one who is a strong opponent would be able to end the experiment if they defeat Accelerator, because if someone strong beats Accelerator, that's to be expected. They were really strong. So it kind of has to be Toma, the main character of the entire franchise. And Misaka, this whole season, is going whole lone wolf. She's trying not to ask for anyone's help. And to see the level of desperation, like, you feel it when she asks Toma for help. And you find yourself probably cheering him on even more in this season, focusing on a different character than you did in his own show, just because you understand the gravity of the situation better, and you've gone on this journey with Misaka, and you've experienced the emotions she has, and have also sort of wallowed in the same hopeless despair that she has. The second arc of this I remember being pretty boring, and it was why, for the largest time, I kind of rated this season less than I do now. And I will say that the second part of the arc can actually get slow, but I do see where they're going with this, and I honestly now think that the sort of like levity and lightheartedness of the second arc complements the Sisters arc pretty well. I think it's a nice, refreshing break so that it doesn't just become too depressing and dark all the way through the season. It's about this little girl, February, who is part of an experiment by a group of Academy City scientists who want to use a bunch of 20,000 mech suits to overthrow Academy City's espers. Also, 20,000 mech suits parallels the 20,000 sisters. I literally got that while recording this audio. The first time I watched this, I think I kind of got bogged down on how absolutely stupid this plan was, because even if we ignore The fact that realistically, if they really tried, Misaka or Meltdowner could probably destroy 20 mech suits. We have to keep in mind that one of the espers that would need to be overthrown is a pre-nerfed accelerator who was established in this very season of the show. So the fact that these scientists thought any amount of time that they were going to take over Academy City with 20,000 mech robots that ended up getting defeated by a bunch of like level 2s, 3s, and 4s it's comical. It is absolutely ridiculous. But I now understand that the focus isn't necessarily on the scientists with the worst thought out plan ever conceived. It's actually on a sort of parallel journey between Shinobu, who is the scientist who helped create the sister program, not behind it, but helped create, and is also a major contributor to the February project. And she has a sort of parallel character arc in the second part of the season, along with Misaka, where both characters learn to not just go all lone wolf like they've been, but to essentially learn to trust and count on other people, and to not carry all of the weight by themselves. A major aspect of the sisters arc is this sort of sense of isolation and despair that Misaka was going through. Often you would see scenes of Misaka in a genuinely hopeless situation all by herself, trying to take on the entire process of shutting down the experiment by herself, juxtaposed with scenes of her friends, although worried about her, in a much happier situation. And in this, we see a sort of inversion of that. We see Misaka going from being hopeless, in despair, and completely alone to being confident that she's going to succeed and that everything's going to work out all right because now she has learned to count on her friends. Twitch and Discord in the description. I've been Sacrobolic, your envoy of hope. Bye-bye.